Students, welcome back to the class. Today we will going to discuss a new topic that is called as hydrogen bonding. That is a very important type of interactions. Okay, so what does happen here? Now, in case of what? In case of hydrogen bonding, it is the electrostatic attraction between hydrogen atom and one of the most electronegative elements, such that remember that next point, hydrogen is covalently bonded to a highly electronegative atom like oxygen, nitrogen, or fluorine, but still in attraction with other electronegative, that is oxygen, fluorine, and nitrogen. So it means that hydrogen is covalently bonded to one of them, but still in attraction with one of them. Okay, are you sure about that? So here you can see that here there is a covalent bond between hydrogen and fluorine, but look at that here. Here is attraction between what? Attraction between hydrogen and fluorine. So wherever I am putting this orange color arrow, that is the hydrogen bond. Okay, and wherever I am putting white color arrow, that is the covalent bond. So hydrogen and fluorine have a covalent bond, that is sigma bond. But still it is in attraction with the fluorine of the second element. Similarly, in case of here also you have two sigma bond. But here is the what? Here is what? Here is the hydrogen bond. Here is the hydrogen bond. Here is the hydrogen bond. So oxygen is bonded to hydrogen is bonded to oxygen but through a sigma bond. But still that hydrogen is attracted towards this oxygen. So this type of attraction is known as what? Is known as the hydrogen bonding. So you can say that here hydrogen bonding interaction involve a hydrogen atom located between a pair of other atoms having high electron affinity. Such a bond is weaker than an ionic or covalent bond, but stronger than a van der Waals attraction. Hydrogen bonds can exist between atoms of different molecules. One atom of the donor, generally a fluorine, nitrogen, or oxygen, is covalently bonded to hydrogen. There is a covalent bond. While the electrons it shares unequally, its electron affinity causes the hydrogen to have a slight positive charge, and that positively charged hydrogen is attracted towards the immediate next neighbor electronegative atom, fluorine, nitrogen, or oxygen. Are you getting that in your mind now? So you can say that hydrogen is covalently bonded to a highly electronegative atom, but still in attraction with the other electronegative atom. Now, what are the examples of hydrogen bonding? I already told you in the previous case. Now you can see that hydrogen, HF, ammonia, like that you have hydrogen bonding example are there. So first case is water. Water is an excellent example of hydrogen bonding. There is a bond between hydrogen of one water molecule and oxygen atom of the next water molecule, not between the two hydrogen atoms. Okay, are you sure about that? I told you like that. This is the example of what? This is the example of hydrogen bonding. This is the example of what? Hydrogen bonding. So hydrogen is covalently bonded to this oxygen while attracting with the other oxygen. In chloroform also, this is one unique example. Because of presence of 3 electron withdrawing chlorine atom, okay, the hydrogen bonding may occur between hydrogen of the one molecule and carbon of the other molecule. This is the only case where the only reason that Here hydrogen is able to carry so much high positive charge is that presence of 3 electron withdrawing chlorine atoms, which will cause it what? Which is making them the carbon hydrogen bond highly polar bond. Next example is nylon. Hydrogen bond are found between the repeating unit of the polymer. Nylon is actually a polyamide. HF, I already told you, hydrofluoric acid is a symmetrical hydrogen bond which is stronger than the regular, which is not stronger than the, as strong as you can say. It is the most strongest hydrogen bond you can say. In proteins also, hydrogen bond results in protein folding. In the tertiary structure of protein, you will find that. Okay. In polymers also, polymers, carbonyl amide groups, they also contain hydrogen bonding. In alcohols also, in methanol, in ethanol, phenol, like that, you will find hydrogen bonding. Now look at the hydrogen bonding in case of HF. Okay, there is a, you can say this is covalently bonded and this is hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond always shown by these 3 dotted lines. Okay, sure about that? So here you can see that hydrogen fluoride has been found there. In this case also water is there. So two covalent bonds are there. That is one covalent bond, that is second covalent bond. So this is sigma bond, this is sigma bond, this is sigma bond. But this is, these dot lines are what? 3 broken lines are what? They are hydrogen bonds. But they are hydrogen bonds. Now look at the bonding in case of ammonia also. You can say that one ammonia molecule has 3 sigma bond, but still there is one hydrogen bond is there. Okay, so in ammonia also you will see hydrogen bonding. So water, HF, ammonia, alcohols, proteins, nylon, various types of amino acids, polymers, polyamides, they all have hydrogen bonding in them. So there are 2 essential conditions for the hydrogen bonding to occur. One is that it must have a covalent bond to a highly electronegative atom, and then second is that size of the bonded atoms to which the hydrogen has been bonding also should be very small. Okay. Now the strength of the hydrogen bonding is much weaker than a normal covalent bond. A normal covalent bond may have varying between from like let us suppose 250 kilojoule to up to 450 kilojoule like that. Now electrostatic ionic bond is stronger than a normal covalent bond, while a normal covalent is stronger than a hydrogen bond, and hydrogen bond is stronger than a van der Waals attraction. These are the 3 most common hydrogen bonds. Their strength is what? Look at that, 42, 29.3 and 12.6. So here you can easily see that hydrogen bonding between fluorine and hydrogen is what? Is of maximum strength. Okay, and very high in oxygen hydrogen also. So you can easily see that oxygen and fluorine, they have the ability to form very strong hydrogen bond. Okay, there is one thing more. HF is what? HF bonding is stronger than, means bonding between hydrogen bonding I am talking about. Hydrogen and fluorine is the strongest, but still boiling point of water is more than that of HF. The reason being that in case of HF per molecule only 2 hydrogen bonds exist, but in case of water per molecule 4 hydrogen bonds exist. Are you getting that in your mind or not? Sure. So I am repeating once more. Per HF only 2 hydrogen bonds exist, but in case of what? But in case of water per molecule 4 hydrogen bonds exist, and due to that what happens? It has a very strong or very large boiling point in comparison to HF. Now one more thing is that the hydrogen bonding in HF is so strong that even in vapor phase it forms a dimer. It forms a dimer. Remember that. So you can say that HF exists as a dimer even in vapor phase. If you vaporize hydrofluoric acid, still in vapor phase, it will transform into a dimer. Now hydrogen bonding is of two types. The first type is what? The first type is called intermolecular hydrogen bonding. It is what? Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Now in case of intermolecular hydrogen bonding, okay, there is a bonding between the hydrogen of the one molecule and electronegative element of the second molecule. So positive and negative ends of the different molecules of the same substance or of the different substance. Look at here also. In case of HF, but due to the presence of hydrogen bonding, it got a polymeric type of structure in which the HFH bond angle is 120, where one HF bond is covalent, the other HF bond is hydrogen bond. This is sigma bond. Okay, I am repeating once more. This is sigma bond, but this is hydrogen bond. This is sigma bond, this is hydrogen bond. This is sigma bond, but this is hydrogen bond. Similarly, in case of what? In case of ammonia also, you have what? You have intermolecular attraction, but you have intermolecular attraction. And this is hydrogen bonding there. In water also, in ammonia, okay, this is hydrogen bonding, this is hydrogen bonding, this is hydrogen bonding. Okay, in water also, look at that. In water here also, you have hydrogen bonding. Now, in case of formic acid also, okay, you can say it is able to form a dimer. And look at the bond difference. In normal sigma bond, this is sigma bond, the bond length is 100 picometer. But in case of hydrogen bonding, the bond length is what? The distance is 160 picometer. So that's why the sigma bond strength is much more stronger than that of a hydrogen bond. So you can easily say that. Okay, here OH, what happened here? You can see here in this case. Okay, look at this case. Normal sigma bond length is what? 100 picometer. But normal hydrogen bonding is what? 160 picometer. So hydrogen bond is, that is sigma bond is more stronger than a hydrogen bond. Sigma bond is more stronger than a hydrogen bond. Okay, look at that. This is p-chlorophenol. What is that? This is p-chlorophenol. So there is a bond between what? There is a bond between chlorine and hydrogen here. Okay, this is called intermolecular hydrogen bonding. This type of hydrogen bonding, what is that? Intermolecular. What is that? Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Increases the boiling point of the compound and also the solubility in water. So boiling point of the compound and solubility of water both increases. Okay, the increase in boiling point is due to the association of several molecules in the compound. That several molecules, they form the associative forces. Every hydrogen bond in case of OH is near about 30 kilojoule. So if one molecule is involved in hydrogen bonding, so it means per molecule 120 kilojoule of heat is required to break the hydrogen bond. That is not normal sigma bond. So intermolecular attractive forces are very large in water. Okay, similarly, presence of hydrogen bonding also increases the viscosity. Okay, look at that. Okay, Cp here stand for centipoise. That is the unit of viscosity. You know that. Okay. So in case of what? In case of ethanol, viscosity is 1.2 centipoise. In case of ethylene glycol, that is second molecule, it is 17 centipoise. And in case of glycerol, the value is what? The value is 1070. Now next thing is about the intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, in case of intramolecular hydrogen bonding, This type of bonding results between hydrogen and electronegative atom present in the same molecule. Look at here, OH and Cl present in same molecule, OH and nitro present in same molecule, OH and carboxylic group present in same molecule. Same happen in salicylaldehyde here, not written here, but look at that. Okay, there is hydrogen bonding here, hydrogen bonding here, and hydrogen bonding here. So this type of hydrogen bonding is orthochlorophenol, orthonitrophenol, orthohydroxybenzoic acid, like that. So this type of bonding mainly presents in organic compound. This type of bonding decreases the boiling point of the compound, and solubility of the compound also decreases. I am repeating once more. This type of bonding decreases the boiling point of the compound and also solubility of the compound. Are you sure about that? So intra means the bonding between the hydrogen and electronegative atom present in the same molecule. Now look at the strength of hydrogen bonding present between the various types of. So here what is happening, if fluorine and so HF and HF between OH and O, between OH and sulfur, between OH and fluorine, between OH or nitrogen and between NH and oxygen. So you can see that here that hydrogen bond between hydrogen and oxygen is stronger than between hydrogen and nitrogen. So all these things you have to understand. Are you getting that? So all the three atoms, remember that if you want to form hydrogen bond, the atom to which the halogen the hydrogen to which the halogen is attached and the next hydrogen, these three atoms should lie in the same plane. All the three atoms should lie in the same plane. Okay, you get the point or not? Okay, they should lie in what? In the same plane. Are you getting that or not? The real evidence is that the presence of HF2 negative and K plus. Actually in K plus HF2 negative, that is an ionic compound, the anion of this contains the most strongest hydrogen bonding in HF2 negative. Okay, without hydrogen bonding, water would have existed as a gas like H2S. No life would have possible on the earth. So hydrogen bonding exists in a molecule in living system, in our tissues, blood, skin, bones, and the clothes we wear of cotton, silk, and synthetic fibers. So all these are rigid and tensile strength due to hydrogen bonding. The thickness of glue or the honey is also due to hydrogen bonding. So hydrogen bonding has a great importance in our day-to-day life. Similarly, ice floats on water due to hydrogen bonding. Ice has lesser density than liquid water. You have to remember that liquid water has highest density at 4 degrees Celsius. So water shows what? Highest density at what? 4 degrees Celsius. Remember that. Sure about that? So these things you have to be memorized. So ice floats on water because ice is lesser denser than liquid water. Okay, why? Due to hydrogen bonding, molecules cannot come close together and they form cage-like structures. Look at that. They form what? They form cage-like structure due to hydrogen bonding. So since they are able to not come close together, not you can fully fit together, so cages are formed. The presence of cage in the water molecule in the ice will make the molecule to acquire more volume. So density becomes less. That is why ice is able to float over water. Sure about that? That is why what happens? Ice is able to float over the water. Now look at one more example, that is malic acid. In case of malic acid, one of the proton is lost very easily. The reason being that after the loss of the proton, what happens? After the loss of the proton, the oxygen atom acquire negative charge, and that negative charge oxygen and that hydrogen, they will able to what? They will able to attract each other. And due to the presence of this intramolecular hydrogen bonding, it form a closed ring like structure. Remember that in each and every case of intramolecular hydrogen bonding, you have the formation of closed ring. That closed ring is called as chelation. It is known as chelation. It also you have a closed ring. So whenever you have a closed ring formation like that, it is known as what? It is known as chelation. I am repeating once more. It is known as what? It is known as not here also, chelation. Are you getting that in your mind now? Malate is able to form what? I am repeating once more to you. Why malic acid is a stronger acid? The malic acid is a stronger acid because after the loss of one proton, this proton has been lost, the malate ion is able to form intramolecular hydrogen bonding. This intramolecular hydrogen bonding makes the conjugate base highly stable, and more the stability of the conjugate base, more will be what? More will be the acidity of the corresponding acid. Now look at that, here also malic acid is given here also, and fumaric acid is given here. So malic acid and fumaric acid. Okay, so malic acid is stronger. This is acid 1, this is acid 2. So malic acid is stronger than the fumaric acid. The reason being that malate ion, an ion obtained from the loss of proton in the first case, is hydrogen bond stabilized, while the fumarate ion formed in the second case, okay, that is not stabilized. Now look at what? Look at this case now. This is the case of salicylic acid. This is the case of salicylic acid. Now salicylic acid is also a strong acid because after the loss of proton, the salicylate ion will form a chelate. It will form a closed ring. This is the chelation. Okay, this chelation will make salicylate ion stable. So a hydrogen bond is formed here. Now properties explained due to hydrogen bonding. That is very, very important. Look at that. High boiling point of ammonia, water and HF in comparison to hydride of their respective period. Okay, because nitrogen belongs to group 5, oxygen to 6 and fluorine to 7th. Now among all the hydride, all three of them have higher boiling point. Why? This is due to the hydrogen bonding. Water exists as a liquid while the other exists as gases. H2S is gas. Similarly, unique property of water and ice due to hydrogen bonding. Density of ice is less than that of water, I told you. So water contracts on heating between 0 and 4 degrees Celsius. I told you at 4 degrees Celsius the density is maximum. These are two unique properties on account of an open case structure that the ice formed due to hydrogen bonding. I already discussed with you. The strength of certain acid and bases I already discussed with you is also due to hydrogen bonding. Solubility. A substance is able to insoluble in water if it does not form hydrogen bonding with water. So the substance, there are two reasons to become soluble in water. One, either completely dissociate as cation and anion, or is able to form hydrogen bonding with water. If a compound is able to do one of that, either dissociate as cation or anion, or able to form hydrogen bonding with water, that compound will be soluble in water. That compound will be soluble in water. The organic substances like alkanes, alkene, ethers are insoluble in water because they are not able to form hydrogen bonding with water, while aldehydes, carboxylic acid, okay, amines or certain amides or acids, they are able to soluble in water due to the formation of hydrogen bonding with the water. Now the next property is about the bond angles. We already discussed it in your Drago's rule, but still we have to find more of that. Okay, the bond angles. Now the angle between the two distance angle in a molecule are made up of, when the molecule is made of 2 or 3 or more atoms, is known as the bond angle. The bond angle is mainly depend upon following. Number one is hybridization. So more the S character in the hybridization, more will be the bond angle. Okay, look at in case of SP, it is 50% S character. In case of SP2, it is 33.3 character, and in SP3 it is 25% S character. So you look at the S character in various types. So S character is largest in SP, so bond angle is 180. So as the S character increases, the bond angle increases. Are you getting that? Next is about the lone pair repulsion. The lone pair repulsion is affected by the presence of lone pair electron on the central atom. Are you getting that or not? So in case of ammonia, 1 lone pair. In case of water, 2 lone pair. So in case of nitrogen, the number of lone pair is less than number of lone pair. So here it is 1, here it is 2. So what will happen? So bond angle is what? Bond angle of ammonia. Bond angle of ammonia will be greater than bond angle of water. Why? Look at that. Are you sure about that? I already told you Drago's rule and the other electronegativity element, but still we have to find, or you look at in case of now electronegativity, that is more important. Okay, please go through the Drago rule and hybridization video so that you get a bit more idea. If the central atom remains the same, the bond angle increases with the increase in electronegativity, like NF3, NH3. Now in this case, what is happening? The bond angle is more in case of ammonia. The reason being that the hydrogen is less electronegative than fluorine. Okay, similarly in OF2, the bond angle is 103, but in OCl2, the bond angle is nearly 111. Why? Because fluorine is more electronegative than chlorine. So oxygen is same in both cases, but fluorine and chlorine are different. Nitrogen is same in both the cases. Hydrogen and fluorine are different. So more the electronegativity, lesser will be the bond angle. Okay? The electronegativity of the second atom should be taken into account, not the central atom. Then we are finding that. Similarly, the electronegativity of central atom. Then if central atom electronegativity decreases, bond angle decreases. It is reverse of the point number A. Okay, there we have discussed the electronegativity of the atom that is attached to the central atom, and here we are discussing the electronegativity of the central metal atom. Okay, so more the electronegativity of central atom, more will be the bond angle. Here ammonia is most electronegative, bond angle is 107, because nitrogen is most electronegative, pH 3. So as the electronegativity decreases, the bond angle decreases. Similarly in case of group 16, as the electronegativity decreases, bond angle decreases. I am repeating once more, please go to the Drago's rule to find out the reality of the answers. So bond order is defined as the number of bonds or number of shared electron pairs between the two atoms in a molecule. Look at that. In H2, only one bond is there, so bond order is 1. In O2, 2 bond pairs are there, so bond order is 2. Now look at that. The isoelectronic species or what? The isoelectronic species or the ions have the same bond order. But they have the same bond order. For example, F2 and O2 2 negative have bond order of 1. Look at that. What they are trying to say, that yesterday I discussed about the peroxide ion. In peroxide ion, oxygen has 16 electron. So 2 negative means what? 2 negative means 2 electrons extra, so 18. Fluorine also has 18 electron system. So fluorine has bond order of 1. Peroxide also has bond order of what? Bond order of 1. Are you getting that or not? Similarly, N2CO and N2 plus, they all have bond order of 3. Okay, yesterday we discussed N2. So it is observed that with increase in bond order, bond enthalpy increases and bond length decreases. With increase in bond order, yesterday we discussed that point in MOT. So please go to that lecture also. So resonance changes the bond. So total number of bond between the two atoms in a structure divided by total number of resonating structure is the bond order in case of compounds showing or ions showing resonance. Are you getting that? So please go through that very carefully so that you may get the full knowledge. Okay? Are you sure about that? Now look at one more example. This type of compounds are called as allenes. What they are called as allenes. Okay, what is the hybridization in their case? I already told you, hybridization is the number of sigma bonds. So look at the number of sigma bond in there. 1, 2, 3. So this is sp2. This is 1, 2. So it is sp. 1, 2, 3. That is also sp2. Remember that this part and this part of the molecule are in perpendicular plane to each other. Means this part of the molecule and this part of the molecule so this yellow and white, they are in perpendicular plane. They are not in the same plane. Remembering that. Look at the bond order of F2. In case of F2, it is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, sigma 2pz2, pi 2px, pi 2py2, then you have pi star 2px, then you have pi star 2py, and then you have sigma star 2pz. It's 2 here and 2 here. This is empty 0. The total number of electron is what? 18. Are you getting that? So the sigma anti-bonding MO are these. So what is bond order here? Answer is 1 by 2, 10 minus 8. So answer is 2 by 2. That is 1. So bond order is 1. So bond order is 1 in case of F2 molecule. So look at there what is happening in C2. In C2, sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2. pi to px equal to pi to py. So all the 12 electrons are being placed here. Sigma to pz, pi to px, pi to py, pi star to py, and sigma star to pz. These are all empty. So bond order comes out to be 2 in this case. Are you sure about that? Now we will look at the unique bond order in case of carbon monoxide molecule. Now in case of carbon monoxide molecule, the configuration is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, then sigma 2s2. Now after that, sigma star is vacant, nothing is there. Then what you have pi to px, then you have pi to py. Okay, are you sure? Then you have sigma to pz, and now you will have pi star 2s. So all other anti-bonding are vacant here. Pi star anti-bonding, all are what? All are vacant there. Okay, so what is happening here now? Anti-bonding MO, and this is also anti-bonding MO. So what is here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, in carbon monoxide 10 electrons in bonding MO, 4 in anti-bonding MO. So what is bond order? Bond order is 6 by 2, that is 3. This is unique electronic configuration of CO2, carbon monoxide. Okay, and remember that if you remove one of the electron from CO, becomes CO plus, so one electron removes from there. In that case, the bond order is 10 minus 3, 3.5. So CO plus has greater bond order than carbon monoxide. Remember that. That's why it got a unique configuration. Here it is absent. It gone here. Absent is here. Okay, are you sure? I am repeating once more. From here, it has been absent, but absent is here. Are you sure about that? So you have to memorize that. And you have to memorize one more point. Carbon monoxide plus has bond order of 3.5. Look at that, what I'm trying to say here. Now NO has what? NO has bond order, unique bond order like that. No uniqueness is there. NO will follow the same pattern as followed by oxygen. Are you getting in your mind? Why? Because it is 15 electron system, not 14 electron system like in N2. So that's why in oxygen like configuration has been followed. Are you getting that or not? Remembering that. So what will happen in NO plus? In case of NO plus, one of the electron goes from anti-bonding MO. So bond order will be 8 minus 2. So it will be 6 by 2. That is 3. Are you getting that? NO has 15 electron. NO plus has how many? 14 electrons. So it has the same configuration as carbon monoxide. But the configuration is not like carbon monoxide. The reason being that nitrogen and oxygen are less electronegativity difference, but carbon and oxygen have more electronegativity difference. So due to that electronegativity difference, carbon monoxide has a unique, very unique, highly unique electronic configuration. And in case of cyanide ion also, you have carbon 6, nitrogen 7 and 1 negative. So 14 electron system is there, but here carbon nitrogen are come close together, not like carbon monoxide. So it will follow the configuration as that of nitrogen. So what is that? Sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, that is pi 2px. Now you have pi 2py, then you have sigma 2pz, then you have pi star 2px, then you have pi star 2py, sigma star 2pz. So answer will be 2, 2, okay, and here 2. So bond order is what? So bond order would be like that one. Ten minus 4 divided by 2 comes out to be 6/2, 3. Okay, anti-bonding, that is also anti-bonding. So 4 atoms are in anti-bonding. So remember cyanide ion also.